Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coach Henry. And today I'm so thankful to introduce a good friend and a very successful businessman, but more importantly, just a great, great human being and a great person. A special thank you to Brownstone Capital for all your real estate investment needs. And with that, Jake, we only have a certain amount of time to talk, so we can't go over all your accomplishments. So, Jake, please just give us a little summary so people can see just a little bit about who you are, and we're going to get right into this.
Great. Thanks, Coach Henry. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm Jacob Rastegar. I live in LA, and I love living in LA. I grew up in LA. Even though we migrated to America when I was 16. I'm a doctor by trade, and I have spent several years in the world of business of medicine as well, which I love, and have really enjoyed being an entrepreneur.
I love it. And I know, again, this whole show is when I ask a little bit more about your business accomplishments, and we'll talk about family, of course, as well. It's really to set up, because if someone just meets you for the first time, Jake, you're a really nice person, and I mean that. So part of this show is an inspiration to people, because there's always a stereotype. If you need to be poor to be humble, if you're rich, you're a jerk, all those things. And my goal is that we all suffer. We all suffer. That's not my goal. I'm saying that we all suffer, and we're equal in the sense of life, and we need each other for encouragement. So I'd like you to share just maybe one of your accomplishments in recent years, whichever one you want to share, only because it validates that much more that you are a good person. I know you're I've seen it firsthand, great family man, which we'll talk about. So I want your story to inspire people a little bit, that you could be good with money and humble and hardworking, and a family. It does exist. So that's where I go with this question, just to set up a stage, if you can.
Actually, I love that. And thank you for bringing that up right off the bat. We all know that suffering is a part of life.
Yeah.
And the question is, how do you manage through some of the hard times in life?
Yeah.
And for me, humility is critical in anyone's success.
Yeah.
Whether you are educated, not so educated, very wealthy, or just trying to make ends meet, it's about being a human being. Mm-hmm. And the essence of humanity and being a human being is to be there and to be constructive and to be able to give people around you an opportunity so they can also have a platform through which they can achieve their goals and their dreams and be constructive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as a practicing doctor and taking care of sick people, I think that came very natural, because you're there, you're taking care of people that need help. So as a healer, you have the opportunity to be able to give someone that is suffering a new path to good health, and through that they can accomplish their goals and have peace of mind and everything else that comes with it, with good health.
Absolutely. As well, better than anybody that no matter what you have in life, if you don't have the health to enjoy it, it doesn't matter. So let's to all those hearing and watching, what is the medicine of choice that you pick? What is a doctor of?
Yeah. So I actually decided to become a doctor later. A lot of people, I feel like they knew they wanted to be a doctor when they were kids.
Right.
Or maybe teenagers. For me, it was first year of college that I decided I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't know what I wanted to be, what specialist. Mm-hmm. But somewhere along the way, my experiences geared me towards being a surgeon that is going to operate on people that have complex medical issues.
Wow. Okay.
So I became an obstetrician-gynecologist, but my area of practice really was geared towards taking care of women that were pregnant and they had a surgical issue. So I would operate on women that were pregnant and try to fix that issue during the course of pregnancy. And I helped a lot of women that were not pregnant and they had complex issues as well. But I essentially think of myself as a tumor surgeon.
Sure.
Right? But
Sure.
geared towards women.
Again, and one of my favorite parts about doing this is slowing people down for a moment. And I know you're humble, but it's also so good to remember the accomplishments that you've done. Because sometimes, especially you being a businessman, a family man, an entrepreneur, especially now in the different stage of your life, that you're out there wheeling and dealing, making things happen, sometimes we forget how hard we worked. So that's one of my key questions that I'm going to bring you to is what was it like your first year in college or around that time where things, you had to hustle, you had to put things in the why, and at that mindset, at that age, your why was one thing. Now, then in the middle, your why, you're like, man, I have a good practice. I'm helping a lot of people. And then your why now. Tell me about one of those or all of those, please.
That's really important. Actually, I'm going to go back a few more years. When I came to America, I was a sophomore in high school, and I felt like I was lost, and I really had a hard time trying to figure out my path.
Now, if I may ask, Sergeant, how was your English? Because,
Not good.
Not good.
No, I came here as a sophomore in high school, and I was like,
wow,
felt like an outsider.
And whereabouts LA? Is that?
Yes.
So let me just paint the stage. So you're first time in this country living, 16 years old, coming into the hardest part of life, which is high school, not feeling that confident about your English. Please.
Not feeling that confident about anything.
Wow.
Not just that. But it was really a scary time for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was capable of doing. I knew I wanted to do something, but I wasn't sure if I was able to actually pick on something serious. So the years of high school were tough. I was just trying to find some sense of stability.
Yeah.
So that's how, towards the end of first year of college, I was thinking, can I do this? Can I actually take on this challenge of being a doctor? And sometime around end of first year, second year of college is when I actually spoke about this is what I want to do, and I'm going to take a shot at it.
So you might have an answer. Why doctor? Like at that point, you're like, mind you, 16, 17, 18, so you're like 3 or 4 years later, you're now went from confused, a little scared, unsure of just life, to now saying, I'm in my first, second year of college, I want to be a doctor. And then when we get to the end, which is now what you've accomplished, come on, that's very inspiring. And we want to give people a little sneak peek that the American dream is real. Forget politics, forget all the other crap. The main reason that you guys came to this country was for the American dream. And Jake, your family is literally proof of that. That needs to be shared. And that's my goal, because politics, yeah, we're aware, but we don't need to be sucked into it. This is the story. So how was that? What was your motivation? What was that why that said, I want to go help people?
It was to be of service.
Wow.
I felt like that is how you live life at a higher path. And that is what motivated me, to be able to touch someone's life and be able to be a part of that healing process. And through that process, be able to connect with a higher power.
Wow.
It was absolutely incredible. And to this day, when I look back, the greatest honor of my life has and will always be when I was wearing the white coat.
Wow. Well, and I can sense it. See, and this is why it has to be shared, because no matter what, people can always judge, Jake. And that's part of life. That's okay. But when they peel the onion just for a little bit and they realize that this is 16 years old. So when people say, well, you know what, let's say they've been here all their lives, they have no idea how good they have it. And you ran with that. So now let's go into maybe the middle of your career now. Things are going well. You're successful. how or did your why change? Not that it changed, because I know you want to be of service, but now that you have money, now that you're in a good place, you're successful in the rights of the world, how did you keep moving? How did you not get caught up in that life? Because I know you didn't. So how did you stay humble?
When you make service the goal of what you do, and you stick to that, you don't let anything else come in between you and you serving your purpose. And so for me, I feel like actually that success that I was building through my career was a blessing that came from me being of service. So service came first, and being there at, 110% capacity all the time for every patient, every individual, or trying to do that, right? Committing to that was something that was of the highest priority for me. And whatever else that came was a blessing from that. That's the way I looked at it.
I love that. Now, here's a real important question that I want to hear the answer, because I love what you shared. But I've met a lot of people in the service business, and their heart's true, but they haven't been able to switch to making a good life for themselves. And you answered it you never kept your eye off serving. And you were blessed to do well financially. That led you to entrepreneur business and what you've accomplished. And we'll share a little bit at the end. So someone that's starting, let's say they're in the service business, and they are caught between, gosh, at what point am I giving up service for more money? How did you keep that balance? Because you became very successful. So it's not easy. You might make it sound easy because you worked hard and you had good roots, maybe from your family, from the experiences. But someone that's out there going, I want to do well, but I'm stuck here, but I'm scared to make the jump because I don't want it to be about money. And that's a big false. I know our family went through that. Our family went through like that imposter syndrome, as they call it. So I like your words, because I know there's people going to watch this or listen to this to be like, they love serving, but they're caught like, well, I don't want money to run, right? So how did you maneuver through that?
You could do both.
Yeah.
You could actually, by being financially successful, you can build a platform where other people can prosper alongside you.
I love that.
I used to always think or say actually out loud that we move up by elevating others with us.
Ooh, that's
Instead
good.
of stepping on other people's shoulders, we elevate together.
Yeah.
And if you are true to yourself and to what is important for you in life, and you stay on the right track, I am a firm believer that opportunities will come.
I love what you shared there, Jacob. So let's talk about that a little bit more, because I know there's people on the fence, and I love what you said, because sometimes we get stuck when, just like I said, everyone's been guilty of thinking in order to be humble, you have to be poor, right? Or if you're rich, you're this. And you're living proof that you can be a beautiful mixture of both. So I love what you said. You said, let me be of service, but let me elevate others. And let me build a platform to help others elevate. And Napoleon Hill said, once, you help enough people get what they want, they're going to help you get what you want, right? And I love that, because it's not about, give it to somebody and wait for that. No, it just means that you might bless someone over here and somebody completely separate bless you, because we all need that step up. We all need someone to believe in us, and we all need someone that along the way. And then we can become that person as well. We have an internal saying within our show, be to be, blessed to bless, right? At any level, whatever I have, I want to bless others. And then I think that's an encouragement for others, for you, that you can have both. You can be of service. You can be good to people. And actually what I've learned is, and this is a cool quote, I heard it the other day, and I never really hit me, money exposes who you really are. And I never heard it, like, maybe I heard it, but I never listened. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? I asked this, they go like, no, look at, if money in the hands of a good person is going to do a lot of good for the world. Money in the hands of a jerk, they're going to be a jerk. It's just who they are. Money exposes who you really are. So that really stuck with me. So money in your hands, starting, you're a good person, you've done well. So let's jump to today. can you share like a little bit of your success in this, just for content, and then we're going to circle it back to family.
Absolutely. Actually, I do agree with you. Money accentuates who you are.
Yes.
So it really brings out the deeper characters that you have because you are afforded the opportunity to be able to explore, and what you explore and what arena you go to and what you do is going to be a reflection of who you really are.
Yeah.
So today I enjoy doing charitable projects. I'm in the world of business. I have a wonderful business partner that I enjoy working with, and I am still on the path of self-discovery.
Yeah.
I mean, none of that has stopped. I ask myself, where do I want to go next? Depending on the challenges I face now and the messages I get, I try to determine what is the right path. These challenges never stop. Doesn't matter. When I was 16, I had those challenges as a newly migrant to this country, and at age 52 that I stepped out of the world of business in medicine and stepping into another arena. I'm facing the exact challenges at a different caliber, but it is that self-reflection. It is that pausing in the moment and asking yourself important questions and holding yourself accountable that's going to hopefully keep you on the right path.
That's great. I love that. So tell us a little bit about your family, just a little bit. You're married, obviously, and I'll let you share a bit more. And then, how, because one of the second question, see, that was only question number one. And look at how beautiful that is. I love what you shared. Question number two is talk about your family, and then how did you find balance then? And how do you find balance now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm married to a super wonderful woman, Jasmine. We've been married for 13 years. We have 3 kids. I have an 11-year-old son, a 9-year-old, and 7-year-old daughters. And my wife has been critical in the support that I needed to have to be able to explore in these arenas and be of service. She was always encouraging me to help and continue practicing and doing what I did in the world of healing and bringing, that comfort that I wanted to bring. A true life partner. And I know what she sacrificed throughout the years where I was just super, super busy, and I felt like just inundated with work and responsibility and building the company and building a team. And my focus was sometimes not at the house, but outside. But she made up for that and was very, very supportive. So I appreciate that. But I have to be a present husband and a present father.
Yeah.
And so I work on that every day. And I think that's super important for the growth of my family, for the future of my children. So the decisions that I make today, I hope that I do think about that. I really try to think about that every step of the way. How is this going to affect my marriage? How is this going to affect my children? And what can I do to make sure that they learn from this experience?
Yeah.
It's not just about, financially supporting. It's about emotionally and spiritually and making that positive impact for the family as well.
Absolutely. Well, I love what you shared because, again, this is not only you and your journey, but I love how you spoke about your wife. I mean that. It's a beautiful, beautiful
the least
thing.
I could say. I mean, really, Jasmine she should be sitting here, not me, as a matter of fact, because she really, truly is a very kind, very centered, humble, spiritually connected human being.
I love that. And I push that because I'm a firm believer, again, you take care of yourself first. You're second, if someone's married, you take care of your spouse. And third, you take care of your kids, your family. And fourth, then you go into the community business. And it has to be in that order. And to me, I love it because what I got from what you shared is that, look, you had to sacrifice in that season to be in there for the business that thankfully for you did pay off. And then instead of her feeling left out, instead of her feeling envious, because I've seen it so many times in relationships, she stepped in like a good partner would.
Right.
and did her part to help. And then now, in a little later, where you have a little bit more room to move things, you're able to kind of bring that back and give her the support that she might need. Because at the end of the day, what I've learned, and you've met my kids, is they remember memories, right? Moments, right? You hear my sister talk about it all the time. It's experiences, it's moments, it's memories. Because no matter how much money you have or don't have, kids are going to remember you being present. So thankfully, you have the opportunity to do that now. And even when you are exploring other things, you can kind of keep a different new balance. So I love that. It's really inspiring. And that's why I want people to hear this and see it, because you can be both. You can pursue the American dream. You can keep it real. But the third question now, because we've talked a lot of good, which is real, but we need to really bring it back in. I need you to share, please, a challenging part of your life that was very difficult. Whatever you're comfortable with, it could be business, it could be personal, because what I've learned about life, people want reliability. They want to be able to relate to someone, right? And I want them to be able to relate that you got to where you are in spite of some of the things you might share, if you don't mind.
Absolutely not. Actually, you need to have a 2-hour program for me to talk about challenges. This is not enough time.
Yes.
I am blessed to have experienced some very unique challenges in life. And I have to say that with utmost humility and gratitude, even though sometimes it is very exhausting. I had cancer when I was 26 years old. And I was
26
at age 26, second year of medical school. The manner by which I was diagnosed actually was a miracle by itself. So I have to trust that somebody was looking out for me.
Yeah.
And I survived that, went back and finished medical school. And that experience of me being a patient in the middle of medical school actually had a major impact in what field I chose and how I decided to practice medicine and the standards by which I had for myself as a practicing doctor.
Absolutely.
And around 2018, 19, I had to face another slew of health problems. And I grew from those. I had to be patient. I had to really ask a lot of questions in terms of why is this happening to me and what is the message within what I'm enduring and what I'm facing. So in the past, I would say 5-6 years, this ongoing challenge that centers around health has been a huge part of my life. So I learn from it. I try to draw strength from it, even though sometimes it's very challenging.
Yeah.
I keep my focus on all the good things and all the right things. And I thank the universe, I thank God, whatever you want to call it, for the incredible support system that I have. And I know that sometimes through being patient and really being open, there are a lot of good lessons and messages that come out of very difficult situations in life.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, you lost me at 26 in cancer. Not lost me, but I mean, that alone, I mean, again, Jacob, think about what you're telling me. You're 26 years old, second year medical school. You find out uniquely, not only that you have to take a break. How long did you have to take a break for?
I actually was told by the dean of my school to go home and take a whole year off. And I said, I'm going to go home. I'm going to have my surgery, get treated, and I'm starting third year on time, which I did.
Wow.
But I was basically in the treatment process for about, maybe about 4 months.
Again, I'm going to come back to that, Jacob, because people need to hear and see. Because let me tell you what I hear these days a lot. excuses, reasons why you don't do things. 16 years old, immigrant to this country. Not only did you not speak good English, you were uncomfortable in itself, and I understand. We get past that. Now you're in medical school, moving and grooving. Cancer. Not only did you told the dean, no, I'm going to come back on time, and you did. But in those 4 months of treatment, all the things that went through your mind, now you're back on time, you graduate. I mean, that's huge. And I just say that because sometimes we don't stop. I can sense your gratitude. And God does have a reason things happen. 26, that humbled you. Because at that point, at certain points when there was a lot of unknowns, you would have traded anything for good health. And you got a second shot at life. That was literally half ago. You're 52, you said now? Mm-hmm. It was 26, you're half. So now what you've done, which answers my other question, you have ran with it. 26 years later, you did something. You've been an asset to the community, to your teams. And this isn't about rah-rah. It's about real. It's about people out there that always choose to focus on the wrong things. And then it's easier to hate and envy on people rather than go, you know what, Jacob, great job. So now that you're here, now that you have so much humbleness, family's good, you're moving forward through other challenges. Like you said, there's always a challenge. It's your mindset. What is the next picture? I know you're still trying to discover, but what is the fire? Because you're 52, you look good, you feel good. What is the fire now pushing? Why are you here? What's next for you?
That is a phenomenal question. And I ask myself that. I'm in the process of figuring that out, but I know that success is very important to me. But even more important than success is being of service and doing something positive. Mm-hmm. I think at this point, to be able to give back in whatever form, helping an individual through an organization, conversations like this, right? Maybe, who knows what's around the corner, right? Anything that will contribute to a process, individual, a group of people. For me, that is something that I think it's going to be a big part of my future.
I think so too, Jacob. Look, I've gotten the pleasure to know you, and not too long ago, we had a little fun trivia. But I would say this, is that you have a platform and you have a voice. And people need to hear it. I say this to my sister all the time. Listen, the bad news always gets out there. Bad information always gets out there. We don't stop to deliver good news enough. So people start becoming impulsive to hear bad news, I think, because it makes them feel better about their life sometimes. But I want to get the people, the 16-year-olds, the 18-year-olds, the 14-year-olds that are like, man, life is hard, and they hear your story. Someone that just hit cancer and recovering or any other thing like that, and they're like, I don't know what I should do, and you went back. And now you could easily sit back, maybe be on a board, a couple boards, relax a little bit, and I'm sure, of course, that's part of it, but there's a fire in you. There's more that's coming. So that is what I feel your voice should continue. And I want to encourage you to continue doing that. Maybe that's your own podcast one day. Maybe you're interviewing doctors on one part, interviewing business people on the other part. Some of your successes, maybe you and your business partner might create an angel fund of your own to bless a small business and say, like, your own Shark Tank, if you will, you know? And I know my sister's talked that many of times, and your payback, like I've always, I think my sister and I've talked about this, is their payback is be successful, pay it forward. Wow. Yeah. See, you have a voice, my sister has a voice, others have a voice, and we got to make a move. And the beautiful thing is we're not doing it for the money. We're not doing it for recognition. We're doing it because we all heard something that we need to hear at the right time. And that's it. We don't know if someone hears your story and wait, because of everything you've shared, 3 things have stood out to me so far. So if I'm just listening, I would have thought 16 years old, I think, man, what if I go to China? What if I go to Germany, and I don't know the language that well. Would I be that confident? Would I be that strong to go in school? And I'm sure people make fun of you and people trying to fit in. I would say 90% of the people would sustain to just survive. You thrived. No easy task. The next part, your balance of giving your wife that credit because it's a real life partner. And the third part is that you're not just curling up and staying wherever it is that you live and just forgetting about the world. You're very relevant to that. And that's why I want to encourage you to continue, because others have to. And we don't know what they're going to hear. I hope that all the guests I'm having, that someone's like, and that's why I work really hard for me on my end. My sister knows that I'm kind of doing my own little pennies for this and people, because I don't want to be told what to say. I want it to be real. I don't want some big sponsor to go, well, just don't. No, Jake needs to share whatever Jake wants to share, let him share it. And that's I want to hope that's my contribution to help people, right? So now, because I love what you're sharing, but there's one question I wrote back on you. This one's a big one for me. How do you speak over yourself? So I hear a lot of people all the time not speak too good to themselves. So I've worked really hard to make sure I don't speak down to myself. And I've been guilty. My sister's been there many times when I would do something stupid. I used to sabotage myself a lot. So therapy for that helped. Oops, that was loud, sorry. And I'll never forget, the therapist said, Henry, you suffer from, not suffer, but he goes, yeah, you self-sabotage intentionally sometimes because it's like your version of imposter syndrome. Like you don't deserve this life sometimes. And I never really heard it like that. And then I messed up at that time in life, and I owned it, but I didn't want to just own it. I wanted to understand why. Why did I do that? Why do I do that? So that really helped me. And to this day, I could thank God that I could say that really changed me, right? So it was really important how I spoke over myself. And if I make a mistake, to own it and then leave it. Just leave it and not dwell in it. Not all the time, just roll back over. Okay, and roll back over, right? So how do you speak to yourself, or how would you like to improve on it, or where does that lie for you?
I do want to say that this is a personal struggle for almost everyone.
Yeah.
This internal journey that we get on with the relationship we build with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We all face self-judgment, self-criticism,
Yeah.
right? Self-worth. Mm. Even the most confident people that walk the face of this earth struggle with that internally. That is just a natural human character. And I think living in the world today in 2024, it's even a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
I think for me, the key to being able to put myself on the right path when it comes with that relationship with myself starts with self-acceptance, and then understanding that perfection is not the goal. It's progress. And allowing myself to love myself for the progress I've made as a person.
That's good.
If I fall into the trap of I need to be perfect, I'm not doing this perfectly, why am I not, if I start going in that direction, then I'm probably taken away from myself.
Yeah.
So I've made progress. I'm a human being. I have flaws. And I accept my flaws. And I also embrace the good qualities that I have.
Yeah.
And all in all, I have to love myself for all of it.
Yeah.
And it takes work to get there, and it takes work to keep yourself there.
Yeah.
But this is good work. We all have to do it.
Well, I love what you shared. Thank you. And I would add to you, it's more important now for you than ever, because you have 3 little ones coming up the ladder. And no matter what you say, they're going to respond more to what you do, right? So later in life, when they get older, they'll realize your business success is more, right? Because they'll be like, Dad, you really did that? You sold that company? You did this? Right? I mean, they get it a little bit, but, they're still little. So right now, what they're going to really feed is you being around for dinner, memories. And I bring that up because they're going to listen to you and hear you and see you and how you speak to yourself. And you have a couple little girls there that more, and again, as you know, I have that as well. And how we speak, if we're always going, oh, I'm not happy, and then we're constantly doing that, they're going to pick up on it all the time. It doesn't mean we can't be real. I always say, be real, just don't stay in that bad place, right? Because I think that's been my why. What is my legacy, which is going to go into this next question. And that's when I wrote my first book a little while ago, because I remember people would go, Henry's a good guy, but. And the but came because I was a bachelor for a while, a couple things. And of course, I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, but I also felt that sometimes the answer wasn't the same. And I'm not here to people please, I always say. I'm here to people bless. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here to be who I am. But there's just definitely some things I could have done better. So that I say, like, what am I going to leave from now? My nephews, my grandkids, as my kids are now adults and the other one getting there, what am I going to be known for? What are they going to, one day, hopefully many, many years from now, go, you know what? What are they going to say? And I would hope they'd say that guy lived life, he loved their family, and he was present. That's what I hope. So as you now are entering to this different season of a little bit self-discovery, how to maximize the blessings you do have, how does that legacy look for you? Again, I say this not morbidly, but if I would interview your kids today, is there something that you feel, without being perfect, that you're like, you know what, I got to be better at that? Or do you feel like, because I say that, again, unmorbidly, because I would think, to me, that could be said about me today. 10 years ago, I had to work on it. I'm still always constant, but you know what I'm saying? There's a difference of 10 years ago to that Henry and this Henry today, in a good way. That makes sense?
Makes a lot of sense. First of all, parenting is the most challenging thing we could do. So we all know that, okay? Yeah. And we all have to make a lot of progress on that. Definitely for me, right? So look, when it comes to my kids, I am moving towards treating my kids like adults. I talk to them that way. I tell them the best advice I can, even if it is a little bit ahead of their time. I say it anyways. I decided I will talk to them that way.
Yeah.
And what they remember. And some of it, maybe they'll remember later.
Right.
And that could be something that would be of positive impact for them.
Right.
When I think about my life up to this juncture, not knowing what's going to happen in the future, really, the highlight is anything is possible.
Yeah.
You come from a difficult background, not having the tools or having to go through the challenges. But if you really are patient and you're committed and you work hard, the dreams are possible.
So how does that balance work? Because, you hear Shaq was the best one day. I have a funny joke later I'll tell you about my sister and Shaq, but, and I'll tell you now, we were watching something and she made a reference to Shaq, right? Mm. And I, being silly, thought she just, I think, heard it. I don't know what, it was a statistic. And I go, oh my gosh. And I started talking to her like she actually knew what she was saying about Shaq and basketball. And she looked at me like, I really got excited. It's like, it's like if you said a medicine term and I just happened to know it, and then you start talking all kind of doctor to me, I'd be like, right? So it was just a moment. So sorry. The point is that he was interviewed one time and he said, oh, no, my kids aren't rich. I'm rich. And he said that because he became, even to this day, who he was and is because of his grit, the grind, the humbleness. but his kids obviously are growing up in a beautiful home and a lot of perks. So have you thought about it? And again, whatever you're comfortable sharing, or how do you feel you're going to keep them humble, but yet not deprive them of, like, you want to go on a vacation, you're going to go, all right, I want you to know what it's like. Yeah, you really can't, but you want to stay somewhere nice. So is there a little tidbit that you can share with that?
I wish I had the answer to that question. That is a constant struggle.
Yeah.
I think, because especially for parents that want their children to grow up to be self-sufficient and very motivated to achieve their own dreams and goals, right? I think really the essence of being able to transmit that is the communication. Teaching them, talking to them about what matters in life.
Yeah.
It's not just the comfort and the luxury, right? Yeah, comfort, luxury. Look, you work hard, you become successful,
Absolutely.
You live a certain lifestyle, totally fine.
Absolutely.
Right? But you have to put in the effort.
Yeah.
You have to really apply a lot of dedication. You have to set your goals. You have to work hard and discipline yourself.
Yeah.
Discipline is super important. My kids know that. They may not love it when I apply it,
Right.
but I know that it is something that it's necessary to be able to move forward and make that progress
Absolutely.
that we're talking about.
No, listen, you're absolutely right. Look, you worked hard to provide your family opportunities that you never had. That is part of your gift back to your own family, as it should be. And I think I love what you said. It's just you keep them very much in communication. And I think that's such a big part. I see so many parents that don't communicate. They don't know anything about their kids. They really don't. They have no idea what they do, what their friends are, or what their music is. It's sad. But I think now more than ever, an intentful energy has to be, because we're competing with social media. We're competing with parents that are all over the place, and those kids are coming into schools, private or not private, public or not public, homeschool or not homeschool. They're going to cross over. So how do you prepare them for that? And I ask that because, again, at the end of the day, your legacy is what your family will continue from what you helped start, generations to come. So I think your answer is spot on. And again, like you said, it's not being perfect. It's progressively growing, professionally learning.
That's all we could do.
Yeah,
Really just keep our eyes on the ball. And children are important. I mean, that the kids are going to be our legacy, right? They need love, they need communication, and they need healthy discipline.
I love that. Healthy discipline. So now we're going to turn the corner back to business, because again, the platform that you've created is pretty amazing. Now they've gotten to hear you or see you or both, because we're going to do both. We're going to have a YouTube channel and our podcast. So they get to see us, and they get to, now that they know who you are, they've seen you now for 40 minutes. They know you're the real deal. Share a little about, because now I want to hit the sophomore, the junior in high school, freshman in college going, I want to do good in business. This guy seems like he's humble. He cares and loves his family. So maybe one or two business scenarios that were a little challenging, you pushed through, you became successful. What is something there that they can apply? Like for me, like I'll just use an example. Like I changed careers. This person I know always told me to get into real estate. So I didn't listen, but I didn't think I wasn't listening, but she's my baby sister. I'm not going to say she was right, but she kind of was.
She was right. She's my business partner.
Yes.
She's always right.
She is always right. I did admit it to her. I did it. But there was a time, even just to bring her in, there was a time I hit a really bad rope in business, and she denied me some help. It's a true story. And I humbly asked her why, and she told me. And at the time, and I understood. I didn't like it, like you said, but I understood. And later, it became quite evident, which I'm grateful she said no, because I had not changed the habits to accomplish the results. See, so that's why I'm sharing the story with you, because I want now the other side of the world. You're always going to be a doctor, but that's what you did. and business. And if you can or want to share about the reason, what you did, just because, again, it's a valuable platform, Jacob. It's a valuable platform that people can go, wait, that guy did this and he's still this? They need to hear that. So what brings that to people? Because I'll never forget that moment. It was her office in Woodland Hills. I went up, and mind you, she's helped me all the time in my life. So this one, but I'm grateful she did that. Absolutely. Because it made me change my habits, and here I am. It was a big help. Who wants to admit their little sister's always right?
You have to.
But I love it. I'm very grateful for our relationship. So that being said, I'm grateful that you get to be in business with her. But what is something, again, now on the other side of it, someone now listening, needing a little rah-rah that's applicable? What can you share, please?
I think the key to success in business is building a loyal team.
Yes.
That is the key. For me, it was the essence of how I felt like we were able to overcome the barriers.
Wow. Okay.
Business is not easy. You have to take risks, and it takes a certain degree of, that unknown, right? The leap of faith, I think of it as. But if you have a loyal team that is going to stick together as one unit during the hard times and when things are not going as planned, and that happens all the time, right? You come up with a projection, you think the growth is going to look a certain way, you are set to hit the brick wall. I mean, that is just bound to happen. When that psychological setback is thrown into the picture, it's the unity and the loyalty of the team members that's going to really help the platform stay afloat.
Yeah, that's good.
So for me, and you can't build that loyalty just by faking it. You have to genuinely create love and dedication amongst every member of the team.
That's beautiful, and that's real. And again, that's why I'm sharing this. I want people. Well, you're sharing it. Okay, so when the company thing, how many clinics did you guys have?
So at the height, we were 49 centers.
49 centers.
And that was close to when the merger happened between the two companies. But I'll give you a good example of when I'm talking about loyalty. In 2020, when COVID hit, we were in the front lines of medicine, right? Urgent care. So that's where people go.
Right.
Businesses are shutting down. We don't know this virus, high level of anxiety, economy, just are we going to live? Is this going to kill us? I mean, all those questions
Absolutely.
we're all asking each other,
Absolutely.
right? Every center remained open.
Yeah.
And we tested all the patients that came in, and we welcomed every single patient that needed help. Our doors remained open. And the only reason why we were able to do that was because we believed in what we were doing.
Absolutely.
That we were there to serve the communities.
I love that.
So that superseded, the psychological obstacles that otherwise would have just hindered us from being able to give back to the community. For us, it was, no, we're not going to close. We're going to be there.
Yeah.
If you need help, we're here. We will help you. And that sense of unity and purpose really was incredible.
Absolutely.
And I think about it, and it was divine.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was not human level. It was above human level.
I love that you said that, Jacob. I mean, because like you said, look at 49 locations. Were they all over Southern California?
Southern California. Yes.
And so 49. See, if what you stated wasn't true, and the divine that you said, you wouldn't have had that success, because you and your team at the exec level demonstrated through your actions and your love, servanthood. Because of that, it trickled down. Again, you and I talked about money exposes, and what's the word you use? It another fancy E, but you're a fancy doctor, so
I forgot the word, but
yourself. So
Accentuates.
there you go. See? Thank you. I say expose, so your word sounds sexier. I like your word. But it did. But see, at that time, everybody could have had the attitude, we got to take care of ourselves. But what you helped, along with your team and the divineness, you helped say, no, this is what we signed up for. This is like in a beautiful way. Let's go help people. And you help people through a very difficult time, uncertainty, scared, fear, and the media didn't help at all. But here you are, 4 years later, you guys were able to merge. What is that company now? What number are they now?
So Urgent Med and Exer Urgent Care merged, and we're approximately 60 centers now.
That's awesome. Yes. So now you can feel good that during that time, your servanthood was put to the hardest test. Not just you. One thing is you being humble and servant. This is everyone around you, 49 locations at that time. Well, thank you for that service, seriously, because you remember, leadership carries it. You retreat, they retreat. You stay strong, they stay strong. So it's a beautiful example. So in wrapping this part up, and this is why I kept it on time, because if not, there's so many, I love hearing what you're sharing. And I want people to hear that you're relatable, that you're not this guy living where you live and you're so disconnected. You're actually quite the opposite. And it's not about proving ourselves, Jacob. It's about giving people a true inspiration. Even one day when your kids hear this and they go, no, I see that, I hear that. So the famous question is, if you can tell yourself 20 years ago, we don't have regrets in life because it brought us to we could always make improvement. But what is some advice, not so much to yourself, but the next generation coming up, not so much your kids, the next you're back in second year of medical school. Jacob's talking to Jacob, and the next group coming up. What are you going to say to them?
Trust your gut.
That's good. It's funny. You've met my son, Zach, and it's been neat watching him grow in business and leadership. In the last 2 months, he's had to make some decisions. He'll ask me, "Is my role?" And I go, "Well, what do you think?" And he kind of looked at me. I go, "No. Well, what do you think is right?" What? No. What do you think is right? What the first thing that came? What is it? And then so over the last couple months, he's been like really going, wait. And then he got signs that things are good and all that. So I love that you shared that. See, because when he hears this episode, he's going to go, oh, trust your gut. I love that. And as I wrap up, because unfortunately we're almost out of time, and this is what I love. See, Jacob, I'll tell you, it's just, this is it. What is something now that you feel as you get up tomorrow morning and you're given the gift of health and the gift of life? What is something now that you feel you're going to put at the forefront? What is your giving back on a practical level every day? What is something that along the way you go, this keeps me humble? And I'll explain. Like for me, I make my bed every day. Every day it doesn't matter if it's a hotel, unless I know I'm leaving and the room service is coming, right? And I'll tell you why. It's not about the general speech, because I love his speech, if you heard that one. Every time I make my bed, it reminds me I have a bed to make. Because I've been through hard times. And I've had sometimes not really a bed, truly. So that to me keeps me every morning. It keeps me relevant. And, I'm doing better now in life. So I never want to forget that humbleness, but I want to stay hungry. What's something like that for you that our guests can take with them?
Wow, that actually, your bed analogy is just so beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
I believe in making the bed as well, because I think it sets the morning on the right path. But the way you described it, you make the bed to realize that you do have a bed.
Yeah.
Right? That's really powerful. Yeah. For me, is a couple of things that come to mind is every morning I pray.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I pray not necessarily in a traditional way, but to my higher power, to my God.
Yeah.
And in that prayer, I remind myself of all the blessings that I have.
That's great.
So that is part of my prayer. And also asking my higher power to put me in a position to be able to help people that need help.
Absolutely.
And to take that to the next step is people reach out that need help, whether it's a business dispute or monetary, whatever it is. I accept those calls and I engage those conversations.
I love that.
As busy as I am, as whatever is going on in my own life, I try to make it a priority to have those discussions, because those discussions are not only going to remind me of where I am and how blessed I am to be where I am, but also allow me to be able to have the opportunity to live life of service.
Absolutely.
And that to me is true happiness.
It is. And I love you sharing that, because look, money in the hands of a good person is going to do a lot. And I pray that you continue to grow in success so you continue to bless many more people. And that's why I love our little slogan, blessed to bless. And like I said, so I appreciate, Jacob, this time that you shared some of your life with us. And I hope that people that see and hear you get inspired, as I feel I've learned a lot about you. And I can't wait to have you. I'm going to do a special doctors panel down the road. I'd be honored if you can be on that.
Of course.
Don't worry, it won't be trivia, even though we should have won that, you know?
It's okay. Next time.
Next time.
We'll be prepared.
I'm going to bring security to watch everyone's phones, make sure it's fair game. So thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, Henry.
Everybody, obviously, you have information. If you ever have a question, Jacob is a busy man, but he always takes the time to do a couple of emails and texts. So thank you. Thanks for supporting the show. Jacob, till next time, you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you.